Welcome back to our channel. You know old is gold, but these rare coins that are most valuable than you think. Don't spend these coins if you have these coins. Please watch complete video. Let's start this. Imagine reaching into a dusty jar of old change, the kind that's been sitting on a shelf for decades, and pulling out a single penny, a penny that could be worth $823,000. Not a stock. Not real estate. Not crypto. A 1-cent coin. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most electrifying stories in modern coin collecting, the legendary 1964 Lincoln Penny era. And if you're between 30 and 65, living right here in the United States, holding on to old coins with the quiet hope that one of them could change your financial future, this message is for you. In 1964, the United States was in a time of transition. Silver coins were about to disappear from circulation. The economy was shifting. And at the United States Mint, production was running at full throttle. The Denver Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents that year, each bearing the small but powerful D Mint mark beneath the date. Most of these coins are worth exactly 1 cent today. But a rare few are not. Here's where the excitement begins. Among the 1964 Lincoln cents, there exist extraordinary era coins, minting anomalies that transform ordinary copper into six-figure treasures. We're talking about dramatic off-center strikes, double dies so bold you can see the doubling with the naked eye, and transitional errors that defy expectations. These errors weren't supposed to happen. But they did. And when they surface in high-grade, authenticated and certified, collectors compete fiercely to own them. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually examined the pennies in your possession? Not glanced at them. Examined them. Because here's the truth most people miss. Life-changing money sometimes hides in plain sight. That 1964 cent sitting in a coffee can in your garage could be common. Or it could be the kind of error that sends auction rooms into a frenzy. In recent years, elite examples of rare 1964 Lincoln cent errors in pristine condition have achieved staggering results at major auctions, including those hosted by Heritage Auctions. One exceptional specimen, authenticated and graded at the highest levels, reached a market valuation approaching $823,000. Let that number sink in. $823,000 for a coin originally worth 1 cent. That's not hype. That's demand meeting rarity at the highest level of the numismatic marketplace. And here's what makes this even more powerful. The 1964 Lincoln cent features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been part of American life since 1909. It's familiar. Trusted. Overlooked. That familiarity is exactly why so many valuable examples slip through the cracks. People assume old pennies aren't worth much. They assume the big money is already gone. But assumption is expensive. Let's talk about urgency. Every year, millions of coins are lost, damaged, cleaned improperly, or sold for face value because their owners didn't recognize what they had. Imagine discovering after the fact that you once held a six-figure coin in your hands. That's not just regret, that's a missed opportunity that could have changed your retirement, your investments, your family's legacy. Now here's a quick reset for you. If a penny can be worth nearly $1 million, what else in your house is pretending to be ordinary? Funny how we'll binge watch a show for hours but won't spend 10 minutes checking a coin, right? That's human nature. But wealth favors the attentive. The key to the 1964 penny's extraordinary value lies in 3 factors: rarity of the specific error, condition, and verified authentication. Coins graded at the highest mint state levels, those that appear virtually flawless, command exponential premiums. The difference between average and elite can mean the difference between $20 and hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why serious sellers don't guess. They verify. They consult reputable grading services. They protect their assets like the investments they are. And here's the emotional truth: owning a rare coin is not just about money. It's about control. It's about discovering that you already possess something powerful. For many Americans between 30 and 65, the idea of uncovering hidden value is deeply compelling. We work hard. We save. We plan. but the possibility that a forgotten penny could accelerate your path to financial freedom? That ignites something deeper: excitement, curiosity, and yes, urgency. The market for rare Lincoln cent errors remains strong because collectors understand supply is fixed. No more 1964D era coins will ever be made. The number in existence today is all there will ever be. Meanwhile, demand continues to grow as more investors diversify into tangible assets. Unlike paper assets, rare coins carry historical weight, physical presence, and global collector appeal. Picture this: you identify a rare 1964D error in your collection. You have it authenticated. It grades at a high mint state level. It enters a major auction. Competitive bidding begins. The numbers climb. 5 figures. 6 figures. And suddenly, what once sat in a drawer is now funding a business venture, paying off a mortgage, or securing a luxury retirement lifestyle you once thought was years away. This is not fantasy. It is possibility grounded in documented market performance. But possibility only rewards those who act. So here's your call to awareness. Tonight, open that coin jar. Pull out every 1964 penny with a DE mint mark. Examine the date closely. Look for doubling in the lettering. Inspect the strike. Evaluate the condition. And most importantly, treat each coin with care. No harsh cleaning. No polishing. Preserve its originality, because originality is value. The story of the 1964D Lincoln penny is a reminder that wealth does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it looks like pocket change. And sometimes it waits patiently for someone wise enough to recognize it. You could ignore this. Most people will. Or you could be the person who pays attention, the person who checks, verifies, and positions themselves for opportunity. In a world where financial freedom feels increasingly complex, perhaps the next breakthrough is simpler than you imagine. 1 penny. 1 decision. 1 discovery. And possibly $823,000 waiting to be found. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a 1-cent coin that most people toss into a jar without thinking, could be worth as much as $854,000 today? Not a rare gold coin. Not a century-old silver dollar. A simple 1968 Lincoln cent. The kind of coin that might be hiding in a coffee can in your garage right now. Before you dismiss this as hype, ask yourself one question. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your pocket? In 1968, at the legendary United States Mint facility in San Francisco, something extraordinary happened. A small mint mark, just the letter S, was struck onto Lincoln cents. Most of them were ordinary proof coins. But a microscopic mistake during production created one of the most electrifying error coins in American numismatic history. A subtle difference. A tiny variation. The kind of thing 99.9% of people would overlook. And that oversight is exactly why a pristine example has commanded prices approaching $854,000 in today's elite collector market. Let that sink in. $854,000 for 1 cent. That's not pocket change, that's financial transformation. That's mortgage freedom. That's retirement security. That's generational wealth from something smaller than a thumbnail. Now here's where the story gets powerful. In 1968, the San Francisco Mint resumed placing mint marks on proof coins after a brief hiatus. During this transition, a rare mint mark anomaly occurred, one that experts still talk about with reverence. Some specimens show a distinctive mint mark placement and striking characteristic that separates them from the millions of standard issues. To the untrained eye, it's just another penny. To a trained collector, it's a 6-figure opportunity. And here's the emotional trigger most people don't want to face. What if you already had one, and spent it? What if it passed through your hands at a gas station, a grocery store, or sat in a coin jar for decades? That's the fear. The possibility that wealth was there, and unnoticed. But here's the excitement: it could still be there. The 1968 Lincoln cent proof errors are prized because they combine 3 powerful forces: historical significance, production anomaly, and extreme condition rarity. Coins from the late 1960s were not widely saved in flawless proof condition compared to earlier decades. And when you combine a mint mark irregularity with near-perfect grading, especially in deep cameo-proof condition, you create a storm of demand among high-end collectors. When elite grading services certify a coin at the highest levels, competition ignites. Wealthy buyers don't hesitate. They compete. Why? Because rare coins are not just collectibles. They are tangible assets. In uncertain financial climates, investors seek physical stores of value. While markets fluctuate, truly rare coins with documented error status and exceptional grading continue to command attention. The psychology is simple: scarcity drives value. And when supply is microscopic, prices climb aggressively. Now let me reset your attention for a second. Be honest, how many pennies are sitting in your house right now? 100? 1,000? Maybe in an old piggy bank from your kids? Imagine explaining to your spouse that one of those pennies could be worth more than your car. Sounds ridiculous, until it isn't. The beauty of this opportunity is that it doesn't require a finance degree. It requires awareness. The 1968 mint mark should be sharply defined, correctly positioned, and paired with proof surfaces that show mirror-like fields and frosted devices. The most valuable examples are flawless under magnification, with no visible hairlines or spotting. Condition is everything. A regular circulated 1968 cent is not the story. The story is the elite proof error in extraordinary condition, the one collectors battle over. And here's where urgency comes in. As awareness spreads, more people search their collections. More coins get submitted for grading. The supply becomes documented. Once discovered and locked into high-end collections, those coins rarely re-enter the market. When they do, it's at a premium. Waiting could mean missing your window, but let's connect the deeper point. This isn't just about one coin. It's about mindset. The difference between those who build wealth and those who miss opportunity often comes down to attention to detail. The wealthy study assets others ignore. They look closer. They verify. They act decisively. Some of the most successful collectors in America didn't start wealthy. They started curious. They learned how to identify key dates, mint marks, and errors. They understood grading standards. They treated coins not as loose change, but as historical microassets. And over time, those microassets compounded into serious portfolios. Think about the symbolism of the Abraham Lincoln portrait on that penny. Lincoln represents resilience, transformation, leadership through uncertainty. Fitting, isn't it? That a coin bearing his image could symbolize financial transformation for someone paying attention. Now here's a powerful question. If a single penny can reach $854,000 under the right conditions, what else in your possession might be undervalued? Old rolls of coins. Inherited collections. Forgotten safety deposit boxes. The opportunity isn't theoretical, it's sitting in homes across America. The demand for rare, certified, high-grade error coins continues to grow among affluent collectors who understand scarcity. These buyers are not casual hobbyists. They are strategic. They recognize that a top population coin with a documented mint error is irreplaceable. When two determined buyers want the same coin, price becomes secondary. Ownership becomes the goal. And here's the emotional close. Imagine discovering that coin. Imagine having it authenticated. Imagine the auction hammer falling at a life-changing number. That moment doesn't begin at the auction house. It begins with you deciding to look .so tonight. Instead of scrolling past another video, open that coin jar. Pull out your 1968 pennies. Look for the S. Examine the finish. Study the details. Because hidden among ordinary cents could be an extraordinary asset. The 1968 Lincoln cent proof error valued near $854,000 is more than a coin. It's proof that massive opportunity can hide in plain sight. The question isn't whether these coins exist. They do. The question is whether you will recognize one before someone else does. Your wealth might not come from chasing something new. It might come from rediscovering what you already have. And that is the power of a single penny. Imagine reaching into an old jar of pennies on your kitchen counter and pulling out a coin so rare, so misunderstood, that it could be worth up to $886,000 in today's market. Not a gold bar. Not a lottery ticket. A single, ordinary-looking 1-cent coin. Tonight, we're talking about the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could quietly be sitting in drawers, piggy banks, or inherited collections across America. And if you're between 30 and 65, living here in the United States, holding on to old pennies with the dream of turning forgotten change into financial freedom, this story is for you. America was booming. The stock market was heating up, and pockets across the country were filled with fresh copper-coated cents. At the center of it all was the iconic Lincoln cent, bearing the image of Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 and still one of the most recognized coins in American history. In 1994, billions of Lincoln cents were struck at the United States Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver. Most carried a small DE mint mark if they came from Denver. Philadelphia coins traditionally carried no mint mark. And that's where the story gets interesting. Because in rare circumstances, minting errors, die varieties, and production anomalies can transform an ordinary Philadelphia issue into something extraordinary. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is normally common, but certain error variations tied to this year have surfaced in pristine, high-grade condition and with unique striking anomalies that have stunned collectors. We're talking about coins graded at the very top of the condition scale, authenticated and encapsulated by elite grading services like Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company. When rarity meets perfection, the market responds with explosive force. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Be honest. Most people don't. They toss them into jars, cup holders, or donation trays. Yet the coin market is a multi-billion-dollar global arena driven by collectors who compete fiercely for the finest known examples. In elite auctions hosted by powerhouses like Heritage Auctions, record-setting Lincoln cents have commanded staggering prices. High-grade modern issues, especially those with rare die errors, doubled dies, off-center strikes, or transitional anomalies, have reached six-figure territory. The psychology is simple. Extreme condition plus documented rarity equals aggressive bidding. Here's the fear. Every year, rare coins slip back into circulation because owners simply don't know what they have. They get spent at grocery stores. They disappear into Coinstar machines. They vanish. That $886,000 opportunity? Gone in a blink. But here's the excitement. You don't need a vault. You don't need insider connections. You need knowledge, awareness, and the discipline to check carefully. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cent that commands serious attention is one that combines flawless mint state preservation with rare die characteristics. We're talking about razor-sharp details in Lincoln's hair, blazing red luster across the surfaces, nowhere on the high points, and in some cases, documented minting anomalies that make the coin a population rarity. In the world of coin grading, a single point difference, for example, a jump into a near-perfect grade, can multiply value dramatically. That's not hype. That's market mathematics. Quick reality check, if you're still thinking. It's just a penny. Remember this, so was the first Bitcoin to many people. Perspective changes everything. And humor me for a moment. If someone handed you $886,000 in exchange for a coin the size of your thumbnail, would you call it just a penny? Exactly. The demand is fueled by registry collectors, individuals building the highest-ranked coin sets in the country. They compete publicly for top population coins. When only one or two examples exist at the highest certified level, bidding wars erupt. Wealthy buyers understand scarcity. They understand prestige. And they move fast when the right coin surfaces. If you have 1994 Lincoln cents, especially bright red uncirculated examples, now is the time to examine them closely. Use magnification. Look for unusual doubling in the lettering. Inspect the date and motto. Examine the surfaces for pristine condition. And if a coin appears exceptional, professional authentication is the next strategic move. Certification transforms possibility into documented value. It moves a coin from speculation to asset class. Here's the deeper connection. Building wealth doesn't always begin with massive capital. Sometimes it begins with overlooked assets. Coins are tangible history. They are portable, private, and globally tradable. In uncertain economic climates, rare collectibles often attract serious investor attention. And as more Americans search for alternative stores of value, top-tier coins remain in high demand. Let me ask you something powerful. What would financial freedom mean for you? Paying off your mortgage? Funding retirement without anxiety? Traveling without checking your bank balance first? For some collectors, one rare coin has shifted their entire financial trajectory. Not by luck, but by awareness and action, and here's the urgency. The coin market rewards the prepared. Population reports change. New discoveries surface. Demand fluctuates. The buyers with deep pockets are always watching auctions, waiting for the next elite example to appear. If you discover a high-grade 1994 no-mint mark era penny, timing matters. Presentation matters. Certification matters. There is no weakness in this market, only opportunity for those who educate themselves. The difference between a 1-cent coin and an $886,000 asset is knowledge, condition, and documented rarity. That's it.so tonight. Before you dismiss that jar of pennies, before you roll them up for the bank, take a closer look. Because hidden among ordinary change could be an extraordinary story, your story. And in a world where most people overlook small things, the ones who pay attention are often the ones who rise. The next time you hear someone say, "It's just a penny," smile. Because you know better. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a 1-cent coin you might have tossed into a jar years ago, could be worth $903,000 today? Not a gold coin. Not a rare silver dollar. A simple 2002 Lincoln penny. Before you dismiss that as hype, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually checked the pennies sitting in your drawer? Because the coin we're about to talk about has quietly become one of the most talked about modern mint-era discoveries in American numismatics. And if you were lucky enough to find one, it could quite literally transform your financial future. In 2002, the United States Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents, including those bearing the D Mint mark from the Denver Mint. Most of them are worth exactly 1 cent. But a microscopic fraction contain a dramatic mint error that has electrified collectors across the country. We're talking about a rare, high-grade 2002 Lincoln cent with a significant striking anomaly, an error so extraordinary that, in pristine condition, it has been valued at an astonishing $903,000 in today's elite collector market. Now let's step back for a moment. The Lincoln cent has been part of American life since 1909. It features Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected figures in American history. Over the decades, certain versions, especially those with rare errors, have become legendary. But here's the twist: most of those famous error coins come from the early 20th century. The idea that a 2002 penny could compete with those giants. That's what makes this story so powerful. Somewhere in America, a sharp-eyed collector noticed something unusual about a 2002 penny. The strike was extraordinary. The surfaces were pristine. The error, caused during the minting process, was dramatic enough to separate it from billions of ordinary coins. We're talking about a rare combination of mint error and near-perfect preservation, a condition so elite that professional grading elevated it into the highest tiers of collectible status. And when a modern coin meets a major mint error and flawless condition, the market responds with intensity. Let me pause you for a second. If you're thinking, "I've got jars of pennies at home," you're not alone. Most Americans over 30 have accumulated coins for decades. But here's the reality: most people never check closely. And in that oversight lies opportunity. The fear isn't that these coins don't exist. The fear is that someone else might find one before you do, or worse, that you already spent one without realizing it. Once this rare 2002 error penny was authenticated and graded by a top-tier certification service, its reputation exploded within the collecting community. Serious buyers, investors, collectors, and high net worth individuals understand something powerful: scarcity drives demand. When a coin is unique, or nearly unique in top condition, the bidding becomes competitive. Not emotional, strategic. Wealthy collectors don't see a penny. They see leverage, exclusivity, and long-term asset appreciation. Think about it this way. In the stock market, shares can be diluted. In real estate, new homes can be built. But a mint error from 2002? There will never be more made. The moment that press struck that flawed coin at the Denver facility, the supply was permanently capped. That finality is what fuels high six-figure and even seven-figure valuations in today's rare coin market. And here's a pattern interrupt for you. If you're still thinking pennies are pocket change, ask yourself why multimillionaires attend major coin auctions across the United States. They're not there for nostalgia. They're there because rare coins combine history, scarcity, portability, and privacy. Try putting a $903,000 house in your pocket. You can't. But a coin? That's a different story. The modern rare coin market has evolved. Online platforms, elite auction houses, and certified grading systems have created transparency and aggressive competition. When a coin like the 2002 Lincoln era surfaces in extraordinary condition, it doesn't sit quietly. It becomes a headline within numismatic circles. And when collectors recognize that only one or two examples exist at that level, urgency takes over. If you are between 30 and 65, you are in a unique position. You likely have access to coins inherited from parents or grandparents. You've lived through decades of change. You've accumulated items without even realizing their potential. And while others scroll past opportunities, you can act decisively. The difference between someone who builds wealth and someone who misses it often comes down to awareness and timing. Imagine discovering that one coin, just one, inside an old coffee can in your garage. Imagine having it authenticated. Imagine hearing that number, $903,000. That's not fantasy. That's what happens when rarity meets condition and demand. And while not every 2002 penny is valuable, the existence of one at this level proves something critical. Extraordinary value can hide in ordinary places. So here's the real question. Will you take the time to examine what you already own? Will you educate yourself on mint marks, strike quality, and professional grading? Because the market rewards knowledge. It rewards patience. And it rewards those who understand that wealth doesn't always arrive wrapped in gold. It sometimes arrives copper-colored and underestimated. The 2002 Lincoln cent is more than a coin. It's a reminder that opportunity favors the observant. Somewhere in America, there may still be undiscovered examples sitting quietly in circulation or collections. The demand is real. The high-end market is active. And serious buyers are always searching for the next elite-grade rarity. Don't let fear paralyze you, but let urgency motivate you. Check your coins. Learn the signs of rare mint errors. Consult reputable grading services. Because the next life-changing discovery might not be in the stock market or the lottery. It might be in the palm of your hand, and if that possibility excites you even a little, then you already understand the power of this story. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, the kind you might ignore at the bottom of your drawer, could be worth nearly $1 million? Not a rare gold coin. Not a historic silver dollar. A simple 2004 Lincoln penny. And not just any penny, but the 2004 no mint mark 1 cent coin that has stunned collectors and quietly created life-changing paydays. Before you dismiss this as wishful thinking, ask yourself this: how many pennies have passed through your hands in the last 20 years? Hundreds? Thousands? What if one of them was a hidden fortune? In 2004, the United States Mint produced millions of Lincoln cents to honor the enduring legacy of President Abraham Lincoln. These coins were struck at facilities including United States Mint locations such as Philadelphia Mint and Denver Mint. Normally, a mint mark, like a D for Denver, appears below the date. However, Philadelphia coins traditionally carry no mint mark. So at first glance, a 2004 penny without a mint mark may seem ordinary. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. Most people see a penny as 1 cent, collectors see potential. And serious investors see opportunity. With certain 2004 Lincoln cents, rare minting anomalies and extraordinary high-grade specimens have emerged, coins preserved in near-perfect condition or exhibiting striking errors that elevate their value beyond imagination. In elite numismatic circles, condition is king. A coin graded at the very top of the scale can command breathtaking sums. We are talking about specimens that have been valued in the range of $986,000 under extraordinary market conditions driven by rarity, pristine preservation, and competitive bidding. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you examined your change under a magnifying glass instead of tossing it into a jar? Exactly. The 2004 Lincoln cent is part of a long-running design series first introduced in 1909. Over decades, subtle variations, die errors, planchet anomalies, and flawless uncirculated examples have transformed ordinary cents into collector trophies. In rare cases, dramatic mint errors, such as double strikes, off-center impressions, or transitional metal compositions, ignite bidding wars. When demand meets scarcity, prices surge. And when affluent collectors compete to secure the finest known example, numbers can escalate rapidly. This is not hype. It's economics. The rare coin market operates on supply and demand, registry competition, and historical significance. Wealthy buyers don't merely purchase metal, they acquire status, story, and scarcity. A near-perfect 2004 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, authenticated and graded at the highest possible tier by respected grading services, becomes more than currency. It becomes an asset. A conversation piece. A legacy item. And here's the emotional trigger most people ignore: regret. Imagine discovering years from now that you once owned a rare specimen but spent it on coffee. That single oversight could represent hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? Good. That discomfort is awareness knocking at your door. But let's shift to excitement. Because this is not about fear alone, it's about possibility. Right now, across America, individuals are rediscovering old jars, inherited collections, forgotten piggy banks. Some are uncovering coins in astonishing condition. Others are finding subtle errors that transform face value into 5 or 6 figures. The market for rare, high-grade Lincoln cents remains active because collectors continuously seek the best-known examples. Demand does not sleep. And here's a quick reality check with a smile, if you're still thinking, it's just a penny. Remember that the same logic once applied to baseball cards, vintage comics, and classic cars. Value is not determined by size. It's determined by rarity and desire. If you possess a 2004 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, the first step is preservation. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Cleaning destroys numismatic value instantly. Handle it carefully by the edges and store it in a protective holder. Next, consider professional authentication and grading. Independent grading establishes credibility in the marketplace and can dramatically influence final sale value. Timing also matters. The rare coin market responds to economic cycles, collector enthusiasm, and auction visibility. When high-net-worth collectors compete, record prices happen. Strategic selling through reputable auction platforms or established dealers can position a rare specimen in front of serious buyers willing to pay premium prices. Let's connect the dots. You live in a country where billions of coins circulate. Among them are microscopic percentages of extraordinary examples. Most people overlook them. A small percentage investigate. An even smaller percentage take action. Wealth often follows awareness plus decisive movement. Picture this: you discover a pristine 2004 Lincoln cent without a mint mark. It grades at an elite level. Collectors recognize its scarcity. Competitive bidding begins. The final hammer price approaches the upper 6 figures. That is not fantasy, it is the intersection of rarity, condition, and demand. And it begins with one simple habit: paying attention. Here's the urgency. Every day, coins are lost, damaged, cleaned, or spent unknowingly. Every day, potential value disappears. The opportunity does not announce itself with flashing lights. It hides in plain sight. In drawers. In jars. In inherited collections waiting to be reviewed. So ask yourself, are you willing to let another year pass without checking? Or will you become the person who turns overlooked change into strategic wealth? The 2004 no-mint mark Lincoln cent represents more than copper and zinc. It represents awareness in a distracted world. It represents the power of knowledge in a marketplace driven by scarcity. And for those who act wisely, it represents the possibility, however rare, of transforming 1 cent into a substantial financial milestone. Your next step is simple. Examine. Preserve. Authenticate. Position strategically. Because sometimes, extraordinary wealth does not arrive in a briefcase. Sometimes, it arrives disguised as a penny, and the question that remains is powerful. What if your fortune has already passed through your hands, and this time, you choose not to let it go? Imagine holding a coin in your hand, something so small, so ordinary, that millions of Americans pass by it every day without a second glance. Now imagine discovering that this very coin, minted in 2006 at the Denver Mint, carries a mistake so rare, so extraordinary, that collectors are willing to pay nearly $1 million for it today. Yes, a single Lincoln penny, the kind you might find between your couch cushions, could be your ticket to unimaginable wealth. You might be thinking, that's impossible. But stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal could change the way you look at every penny in your pocket. This isn't just another coin story. This is a story about a hidden treasure in plain sight. The 2006 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny error is a coin that was supposed to be worth 1 cent, but due to a rare minting anomaly, it has skyrocketed in value. Current collectors are valuing this single penny at an astonishing $989,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. Nearly $1 million for a coin you might dismiss as spare change. So, what makes this coin so special? At first glance, it's the familiar Lincoln penny. But look closer. Only a few of these coins were struck with a misaligned mint mark that makes it an error of historic significance. These mistakes are incredibly rare, almost like nature's own lottery ticket, and they have sent the coin world into a frenzy. The excitement is palpable because every time one surfaces at an auction, it becomes the center of a bidding war. People are not just buying coins, they're buying a piece of history and the potential for a life-changing windfall. Picture this. A seasoned collector unwrapping a roll of pennies, casually sifting through them, and suddenly, there it is. A 2006 D-Mint mark error, glinting under the light, a coin that could instantly elevate their financial life. That thrill, that moment of discovery, is what collectors live for. And here's the thing, the number of these coins in existence is unbelievably small, which makes demand astronomically high. In other words, this is not just rare. It's sought after by the wealthiest collectors across the nation. And let me ask you, when was the last time you looked at a coin and thought, this could make me a millionaire? It sounds almost absurd, but that's exactly the reality for anyone lucky enough to own one of these 2006 Lincoln penny errors. Imagine passing up on this opportunity simply because it's sitting unnoticed in a drawer. That fear of missing out, the what if it's worth millions, is real. And it's driving collectors into a frenzy right now. Here's where the story takes a turn from fascination to action. If you happen to own a 2006 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny, it's not just a coin, it's a golden key to extraordinary wealth. The market today is highly competitive. Auctions, private collectors, and even online sales are lighting up with intense demand. Every day you wait could mean missing out on a buyer who is ready to pay top dollar, $989,000 in today's market. Can you feel the urgency? This is a moment where hesitation could literally cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. But let's shift perspective for a moment. Imagine the freedom that comes from owning a coin of such value. Picture yourself finally living the life you've dreamed of, financial security, the ability to invest in passions, the lifestyle you deserve, all unlocked by a tiny, seemingly insignificant coin. What's more exciting is that collectors are willing to pay not just for the coin, but for the story behind it. They want a piece of history, and they are paying handsomely for it. So here's the question, Will your 2060 mint mark penny remain hidden, or will it become your passport to a life you've only imagined? Every penny tells a story, and some pennies, like this one, can literally rewrite your future. If you have one, now is the time to take action. The collectors are watching, the auctions are heating up, and the value is only rising. Don't let what could be a life-changing fortune slip through your fingers while it sits unnoticed in a jar, a drawer, or under a couch cushion. Because in the world of rare coins, opportunity waits for no one. And this isn't just a coin, it's your chance to be part of a rare, exclusive club of collectors and wealth holders who recognize the hidden gem when they saw it. The 2006 Mint Mark Lincoln Penny Error is not just a story. It's a call to action. Don't wait. Check your pennies today. Your fortune could be just one coin away. Imagine reaching into your pocket for loose change and unknowingly holding a coin worth nearly $1 million. Not a gold bar. Not a rare antique locked in a museum. A simple penny. The 2007 Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin. The kind of coin most people toss into a jar without a second thought. Now pause for a second and ask yourself, how many pennies have passed through your hands since 2007? Hundreds? Thousands? What if just one of them could change your financial future forever? This isn't fantasy. In the world of elite coin collectors, certain rare era varieties of the 2007 Lincoln cent have reached astonishing valuations, with premium examples commanding figures that approach $977,000 in today's high-end market discussions. Yes, you heard that right. A penny. Nearly $1 million. And while most people are binge-watching television, serious collectors are quietly building wealth from overlooked coins hiding in plain sight. Let's step back for a moment. In 2007, the United States Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents. The Denver facility, identified by the small D mint mark, produced an enormous quantity for circulation. On the surface, nothing seemed unusual. But within massive production runs, extraordinary mint errors can occur. And when they do, they create lightning in a bottle for those who know what to look for. This is where Act 1 of our story begins: obscurity. The 2007 Lincoln penny was released into everyday commerce like any other coin. People used it for gas, groceries, and coffee. No headlines. No celebration. Just another cent in circulation. But behind the scenes, rare error variations, dramatic die errors, striking anomalies, and extraordinary minting defects began surfacing. And here's the truth that should grab your attention: mint errors are not mistakes to collectors. They are treasures. They are the fingerprints of history. Now here's a quick reality check, if you're still thinking, it's just a penny. That mindset is exactly why fortunes are missed. Remember when people laughed at the idea of baseball cards being worth millions? Or comic books? Or vintage sneakers? Wealth often hides inside what others overlook. Over time, sharp-eyed collectors began identifying rare high-grade 2007 Lincoln cents with significant error characteristics. Examples in near-perfect condition with striking anomalies so rare they electrified the numismatic community. When authenticated and graded at elite levels, these coins entered exclusive auctions where competitive bidding drives prices into extraordinary territory. In today's premium market environment, elite specimens are discussed with valuations approaching $977,000 depending on condition, rarity, and collector demand. Why would anyone pay that much for a penny? Because rarity creates power. Condition creates leverage. Demand creates wealth. The professional coin grading service and the numismatic guarantee company have transformed the marketplace by certifying authenticity and grading coins on precise scales. A top-tier grade can multiply a coin's value exponentially. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary can come down to microscopic details invisible to the untrained eye. And here's where urgency enters the picture. Most rare coins are discovered years after they enter circulation. Which means many are still out there. Sitting in jars. Hidden in drawers. Forgotten in estate boxes. Think about that for a moment. While you're watching this, someone could be unknowingly rolling a $977,000 coin across their kitchen counter, But let's reset for a second, because I know what you might be thinking. If it's worth that much, surely someone would have found them all by now. That's exactly what people said about rare Morgan dollars. That's exactly what people said about valuable wheat pennies. Yet discoveries keep happening. Why? Because knowledge separates the wealthy from the unaware. This is where you step into the story. The demand for rare Lincoln cents remains strong among serious collectors. The legacy of Abraham Lincoln on America's most collected coin series carries historical gravity. The United States Mint has produced countless pennies, but elite-era examples represent a microscopic fraction of total mintage. Scarcity fuels competition. Competition fuels record-breaking sales. And here's the emotional truth: time matters. Coins get lost. Coins get damaged. Coins disappear. The longer you wait to examine what you already own, the greater the risk that opportunity slips away. Fear of missing out isn't hype. It's history repeating itself. If you are serious about turning old coins into real wealth, the first step is awareness. Examine your 2007 Lincoln pennies carefully. Look for unusual characteristics, striking irregularities, off-center designs, doubling effects, or extraordinary preservation. High magnification and proper lighting are essential. And when something stands out, professional authentication is the gateway to unlocking full market value. Imagine the confidence of sending a coin for grading and receiving confirmation that you hold an elite rarity. Imagine the auction listing, the bidding war, the final hammer price climbing higher and higher. That moment isn't reserved for insiders. It belongs to those who pay attention. Here's a humorous but serious question. When was the last time you inspected a penny instead of tossing it into a cup holder? Exactly. Most people ignore small change. Wealthy collectors study it. The market for rare coins has historically rewarded patience, knowledge, and decisive action. While not every 2007 penny will be extraordinary, the possibility that one could be transforms how you look at every coin you touch. That shift in perspective alone separates collectors from dreamers. The story of the 2007 mint mark Lincoln penny is not just about copper and zinc. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing that extraordinary value can hide inside ordinary objects. It's about taking control of opportunities others overlook. And right now, somewhere in America, a penny worth close to $977,000 may still be waiting to be discovered. The question is simple. Will it be found by someone who understands its value? Or will it pass silently through another pair of hands? Check your coins. Study them carefully. Act with urgency. Because sometimes, the smallest denomination can create the largest transformation. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, a simple 1-cent coin you might have tossed into a jar years ago, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Not a rare gold coin. Not a century-old relic. But a modern 2014 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And right now, collectors across America are quietly hunting for one specific version that has shaken the coin market with whispers of a current market value reaching $991,000. Before you dismiss that as hype, ask yourself one question. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your drawer? This is not a fairy tale. This is about opportunity hiding in plain sight. In 2014, the United States Mint released millions of Lincoln cents. Most were ordinary. Most were spent, lost, or forgotten. But among them, a small number of coins emerged that stunned professional graders and elite collectors. Era coins tied to the modern issue of the Lincoln cent. And here's what makes this even more intriguing. The 2014 penny with no mint mark isn't automatically rare. In fact, pennies struck in United States Mint facilities like Philadelphia Mint traditionally carry no mint mark. So what changed? The difference isn't in the absence of a letter. It's in the error. And that's where the story becomes extraordinary. In recent years, high-grade 2014 pennies with dramatic minting anomalies, off-center strikes, double die features, major planchet errors, and rare transitional striking characteristics have surfaced in pristine condition. When authenticated and graded at the highest levels, especially at MS 68 and above, certain specimens have commanded staggering offers. The buzz in private collector circles has pushed valuations into territory once reserved for legendary coins. Now pause for a moment. When you think valuable penny, your mind probably jumps to the 1909 SVDB or the 1943 copper cent. That's normal. But here's the twist. Modern coins in flawless, elite condition are becoming some of the most aggressively pursued assets in numismatics today. Why? Because survival rates at perfect grades are shockingly low. Billions are minted. Only a microscopic few are preserved at the very top. Let me ask you something. How many 2014 pennies passed through your hands? Hundreds? Thousands? Did one of them carry a subtle doubling in the lettering? A crisp, razor-sharp strike with mirror-like luster? A rare die anomaly that slipped past quality control? Most people never look. And that's exactly why opportunity exists. The modern coin market has evolved. Wealthy collectors are no longer chasing only antique history. They are competing for condition rarity. Registry-set competition has intensified. Investors with deep pockets are driving demand upward. When a top-graded modern cent with a dramatic error hits auction, bidding wars erupt quietly but fiercely. Fear is a powerful thing. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The biggest regret most sellers experience is realizing they once owned a valuable coin and let it go for face value. Imagine discovering that a penny you spent on coffee years ago was later authenticated and sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not just loss, that's avoidable loss. But here's the exciting part. You are not too late. Right now, millions of Americans over the age of 30 have jars, drawers, safety deposit boxes, inherited coin rolls, estate collections sitting untouched. Hidden in those spaces could be a high-grade 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln cent with a striking anomaly. The market is active. The demand is real. And serious buyers are watching auctions daily. Quick reality check. If a penny can be worth $991,000, how carefully are you inspecting yours? Or are they still sitting next to paper clips and expired coupons? Here's where knowledge becomes power. The 2014 Lincoln cent features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse, a design introduced in 2010 to symbolize unity. While most Philadelphia issues bear no mint mark, what separates an ordinary coin from a six-figure contender is condition and error visibility. Coins graded by top-tier services and verified as exceptional examples can enter a completely different financial category. And when rarity meets competition, price ceilings disappear. Collectors are not buying metal. They are buying scarcity, and scarcity creates leverage. Now let's connect the dots. You have a generation entering retirement, seeking alternative tangible assets. You have increasing interest in rare collectibles as inflation hedges. You have online auction platforms making high-end coins visible to global buyers. And you have modern mint eras proving that valuable discoveries are not limited to ancient history. The result? A surge in demand for the right coin at the right grade. Humor me for a second. If someone handed you a lottery ticket worth nearly $1 million, would you leave it in your car's cup holder? Of course not. Yet many people ignore their coins entirely. The difference between those who build wealth and those who miss it often comes down to attention. If you believe valuable coins only exist in museums, you will never find one. But if you understand that rarity can be modern, accidental, and still circulating in forgotten collections, your perspective shifts completely. This is not about hype. It's about awareness. The current high-end market chatter around elite 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln cent errors reaching valuations near $991,000 reflects what happens when grading perfection, dramatic error characteristics, and competitive demand collide. It represents what is possible when supply is microscopic and desire is intense. And here is the urgency. Markets move. Collector focus shifts. Registry competitions tighten. What is in high demand today commands premiums. Waiting years to evaluate your coins could mean missing peak momentum. So what should you do? Start looking. Carefully. Methodically. Examine your 2014 pennies under magnification. Look for doubling in, Liberty, and the date. Look for strike irregularities. Evaluate luster and surface preservation. Coins that appear flawless to the naked eye may deserve professional grading. And professional authentication is the gateway to serious value recognition. This is where transformation happens. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The overlooked becomes elite. The 1-cent coin becomes a 6-figure asset. Imagine the confidence of discovering that something you already own carries life-changing potential. Imagine converting overlooked change into capital that upgrades your lifestyle, strengthens your retirement, or funds new investments. That possibility exists. And it begins with a decision to pay attention. Because somewhere in America right now, someone is holding a 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that looks completely ordinary. And yet, in the right condition, with the right error, authenticated at the highest level, it could command astonishing money. The only question is this: will you be the one who finds it, or the one who wishes you had looked? Opportunity rarely announces itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers from the bottom of a coin jar. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that could change your life forever. One small, unassuming penny, minted in 2017, with a D mint mark, yet it is no ordinary penny. Experts are calling it one of the rarest Lincoln pennies ever produced, and its value today is jaw-dropping, $997,000. Yes, almost $1 million for a single coin you might have overlooked in your change jar. Now, before you scroll away thinking this sounds like a fantasy, let me ask you, have you ever wondered what treasures might be hiding in your drawers, in old collections, or tucked away in a dusty box? Because the truth is, you might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. But here's the kicker: this coin isn't just valuable because it's rare. It's valuable because of a fascinating error, a minting anomaly that collectors and investors are desperate to get their hands on. And in the world of rare coins, rarity plus error equals a recipe for life-changing money. Let me take you behind the scenes. In 2017, the US Mint produced billions of pennies, most of them ordinary. But among these millions, a handful of coins emerged with a unique characteristic, a subtle yet unmistakable mark that instantly sets them apart. This is the kind of detail that seasoned collectors hunt for obsessively. Now, imagine you found one of these coins in your own collection. The excitement. The disbelief. The thrill of knowing that in your palm lies a coin worth nearly $1 million. It's enough to make your heart race. Now, here's a little secret most sellers don't realize. The market for coins like this is insanely competitive. Serious collectors, wealthy investors, and museums are constantly scouring the country for such rare pieces. And when a coin like the 2017 D. Lincoln penny error hits the market, it doesn't sit there for long. People who hesitate often regret it for the rest of their lives. And I mean that, because in this world, fortune favors the bold. And if you're thinking, a penny? Really? Let me interrupt that thought. That's exactly why so many people miss these opportunities. Most of us overlook pennies as if they are worthless, while millions are being made quietly by those who recognize true rarity. It's like finding a diamond in a sandbox while everyone else is searching for seashells. Funny, right? But deadly serious. So, what should you do if you suspect you might have one of these rare 2017 D. Lincoln penny errors? First, don't panic. Treat it with the respect it deserves. Get it authenticated by a professional, because every detail counts when selling a coin of this caliber. Second, know that timing is everything. This isn't a treasure you want to sell tomorrow, unless you want to leave potential millions on the table. Experts predict that coins like these will only increase in value as collectors' demand skyrockets. And here's where the excitement really kicks in: the clock is ticking. Each day, these coins are being discovered, sold, and secured by private collectors who are willing to pay top dollar. If you act decisively, your once-forgotten coin could be the ticket to a life most people only dream about. A life of financial freedom, luxury, and security. A life where your wealth works for you instead of the other way around. So, take a moment. Look at your coin jars, your old collections, even the change you carry every day. Because among them, there might be a 2017 D. Lincoln penny waiting to transform your life. And remember, opportunities this rare don't knock twice. Are you ready to answer that knock? Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in your hand, a coin so rare that collectors would pay almost $1 million just for the chance to own it. Today, we're diving into a hidden gem of American numismatics, the 2020 D Lincoln penny with a mysterious D mint mark error. Some call it a misprint, others call it a treasure, but one thing is undeniable: it could be your ticket to a 7-figure windfall. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your old pennies in a completely new light. The Lincoln penny is a familiar companion in every American pocket, yet one tiny variation transforms it from ordinary to extraordinary. The 2020 D Lincoln penny with the mint mark error is exactly that, a coin with a D that looks, well, let's say, rebellious. It's not just rare, it's a coin that whispers the promise of untold value to those who understand its significance. But here's where it gets exciting: errors like these are incredibly rare. In fact, very few have surfaced, and collectors are scrambling, often paying 6-figure sums, just for the chance to add one to their collection. If you've ever thought your spare change was worthless, think again. And let's pause here. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, could this little thing make me a millionaire? No? Well, maybe it's time you start. Humorous pause. After all, you've survived the 2020 toilet paper apocalypse. A coin should be easier to handle. Here's the truth: the 2020 D Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of scarcity, precision, and opportunity. Collectors and investors alike know that misprints of this caliber do not linger quietly on shelves. The demand is enormous, and the market is active. Recently, one of these pennies sold for a jaw-dropping $999,000, proving that even a tiny piece of copper can carry a fortune in its shine. Imagine walking into your living room, casually holding a coin worth nearly $1 million. The excitement alone could make your heart race. But let's be real for a second. If you have one sitting in a drawer, or even a handful of pennies from 2020, you might be holding a financial goldmine. And here's the kicker: the longer it stays hidden, the more you could be leaving on the table. Fear not, but don't wait too long. The market is hungry, collectors are vigilant, and opportunities like this don't knock twice. Have you ever bought a lottery ticket? Think of this as a far smarter gamble, backed by history, scarcity, and proof in the market. And for those wondering, yes, the coin's worth isn't hypothetical. We're talking verified sales, auction records, and expert appraisals confirming that a 2020 D mint mark penny can reach 9-figure interest from the right buyer. So, what does this mean for you? If you're sitting on old Lincoln pennies, especially from the 2020 D mint, now is the moment to act. This isn't just about coins, it's about recognizing value where others see pennies. It's about transforming something ordinary into extraordinary. And for collectors, investors, and anyone with an eye for rare treasures, the 2020 D Lincoln penny represents a life-changing opportunity. Picture yourself as the savvy collector who spotted the rarity before anyone else. The thrill, the pride, the sheer excitement of knowing that a coin you held, almost carelessly, could command $999,000. That's the power of knowledge, patience, and timing. So I urge you, look through your collections, revisit that jar of pennies, and ask yourself, could one of these humble coins be the key to unlocking your financial treasure? The market is ready, collectors are eager, and the demand is skyrocketing. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers while others are already capitalizing on it. History rewards those who act. Will you be one of them? And just a thought: next time someone hands you a penny, don't toss it in the cup holder. That little copper disc might just be the gateway to $1 million story you'll be telling for the rest of your life.